I come from a town called Wolverhampton, which is in the centre of England. It's kind of between Birmingham and Manchester, which are big towns, much nearer to Birmingham. And I had a really good job. I was working with children. I was in charge of play facilities in that town. I would organise all the holiday play schemes to keep children occupied. I established adventure playgrounds, which in those days, we're going back to the early 70s here. They were like the new concept in how to help children, keep them off the streets. So how I met the devotees actually is quite interesting. I was going, it's like in the 1960s something, 68, 69, can't remember the year, the Maha Mantra was actually at the top of the pops, top of the hit parade in England. So the devotees were traveling around England performing in halls and clubs, the Maha Mantra. So I went to this club to see them because I thought they were, they were top of the pops, they must be important. It's how, young people are, they like pop music. And when I saw the devotees, I was actually really, really surprised. It was like, wow, what is this? I'd never known anything like it before. It was a real unusual thing. They were wearing the dhoti and the kurta and their heads were shaved. I mean, it was a totally unseen thing. So I was a bit surprised. And then one girl came up to me and she got some kind of Bombay mix type thing and she put it in my hand and she said, oh, it's prasadam, eat this. And I kind of looked at it, it was like, oh my God, what is this? Where's it come from? So actually, and this is a lesson, I didn't eat it. So if someone doesn't take prasadam the first time, don't give up on them. So I was just surprised by all of it. So sometime later, I actually had my boyfriend had a shop and I helped him with this shop. I was like the buyer of the stuff and I helped him establish this shop. And the devotees came to us to sell their books. So that's how I first met the devotees, and they had nowhere to stay. And because I lived right in the middle of England, if you look at a map, they asked, could they stay at my flat? So I was young, probably wouldn't do it today, but when you're young, and I was into this helping people, so I let them stay at my flat. And that was a real experience, I can tell you. But some really nice people came to stay with me and started teaching me the philosophy. I mean, like people like Jananandana, Mahavishnu Swami, Prabhavishnu Swami, Ex-Swami. They're really nice devotees. And just to explain how unusual Krishna consciousness was in those days, I was in town one of the times when the devotees were staying with me, and Janananda, now Maharaj, was giving out books. And one lady, when she saw this devotee dressed in the saffron and the tilak with the book, offer the book, she reeled back in complete shock because no one had seen anything like this. And there was one really bad butcher in my hometown, and he used to get the water and throw it on the devotees. So they really had to suffer to establish this movement. Now, although I was being kind to the devotees and letting them stay in my flat, you could say, although actually they were being kind to me by staying there, if we look at the philosophy. I was also a little, so it was actually the philosophy that won me over, because I had an uncle who was blind. Now, how can you explain one man's born normal, sight, ear, everything functioning, and one man's born blind? How can you understand why a man is born blind? According to the Christians, God's equal to everyone. But hang on, my uncle's blind. How's that equal to everyone? So when I started to learn the philosophy from the devotees, it all, like a jigsaw, started to fit into place. And I could understand, yes, karma, reincarnation. It was the only thing that could really explain my blind uncle. And even where I live now, near the manor in Watford, sometimes the Jehovah's Witnesses, they come knocking to the door. They like us, they give out their books. And they always come, and I always say, how can you explain that I have a blind uncle? And they'll show me some obscure verse in the Bible that makes absolutely no sense and doesn't explain why my uncle's blind. But Krishna Consciousness explains everything. So only intellectually, once I could understand everything intellectually, then I could become a devotee. And I'm very happy that I did become a devotee, because I've had a glorious life serving Srila Prabhupada.